Well, rational viewers, it's been almost 2 weeks since the election. Obviously, President elect Trump will not take office until January, but that doesn't mean that we have to delay what we have to do. As I've said in my previous video, voting is the beginning and not the end. The voting never stops. We vote every day with our attention, our effort, and our money.
We know more than ever before, but who knew bias was the bane of all you study? We know more than ever before, but who knew bias was the bane of all you study?
So let's turn our attention to money. Let's talk about something that no politician wanted to talk about all year or ever, and that is our debt-fueled, unsustainable economic system under central banking.
I want to tell you about the upcoming melt up. So this is a story about inflation, how it reaccelerates hard. So this story, it starts with the US government's, so the US federal government's national debt crisis. It's going to get worse. It's going to get exponentially worse. I wish I could describe it in a different way, but I've chosen my words wisely. Here's the US national debt over the past 100 years. This is coming directly from the government's website at the Treasury. The interest payments on this debt is, of course, a big concern. As the government accumulates more debt, the interest payments grows. So the government has to make interest payments to whoever they borrowed money from, whoever they owe money to. Japan, China, the UK. It could be the Federal Reserve, big financial institutions, big corporations, rich families, rich individuals, whoever has a US government bond. Now, I want to connect the dots for you. Why this is a crisis, why inflation will get worse, why the US government, why the US economy cannot afford a recession, and also why the government will choose hyperinflation rather than deflation. The federal government's primary source of income is tax revenue, so just taxes. So the biggest income source is individual income taxes, then Social Security, Medicare taxes, followed by corporate taxes. So those other tiny little bubbles that you see, those are insignificant. Those are things like customs taxes, excise taxes, etc. And they're going to spend $1 trillion on interest payments. That's 20% of tax collections. So what's going to happen when that gets increased to 30%, 50%, 100%? It's just going to be, and this is unsustainable, and it's just getting worse. This is ridiculous. It's like a house of cards. So listen, the situation is just going to get worse. That is a given. And it doesn't matter who wins office, Trump or Harris, makes no difference. Trump is going to overspend like crazy. Trump added a record amount of national debts, more than Obama. And look at the Biden-Harris combo. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to spend like crazy. They added a record amount of national debts, more than Trump. So the national debts, it doesn't matter who wins. It's going to increase, and the interest payments will increase as well. Okay, now just think of...
Now, I edited that for maximum impact. If you want to watch the whole thing, I put the link in the description, and I encourage you to do so. I chose the excerpts I did to remind everyone that there is not one issue in this country that's more important than the information you just saw. Not one. On November 5th, chances are you got upset or celebrated over something other than economic factors. Whatever the notion, it is not as important as the information in the video you just saw. Not that you would ever know that judging by the presidential campaign that we just had. But like the gentleman said.
And it doesn't matter who wins office, Trump or Harris, makes no difference.
And you would never know that based on everyone's election reaction. In my last video, I talked about the disturbing numbers surrounding the lack of retirement for people my age, Generation X. And other generations. Man, nobody wanted to watch that video. But you can't keep ignoring it. Are we just gonna continue to ignore it?
I really want to warn people about the pitfalls of buy now, pay laters. If you can do it responsibly, I mean, that's on you. I clearly could not do it responsibly. And will you think in your head, oh, $50 here, $15 here, but it all adds up. And it gets out of control, and literally I went viral for having 44 loans. And before that, it was like closer to 50. And I have it down to a little over 20 now, I believe. But I'm about to pay 8 off. I think it's 20. See, it's so hard to keep up with. And I know that...
Hey, no cap. Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay, they all taking over. It's kind of crazy, bro. It'd be crazy as hell because, like, you can really buy anything in 4 different payments, bro. But my daughter's bought a goddamn Chipotle bowl on Klarna. He's paying $4 every 2 weeks. He gonna be done by New Year's. My dog went to the gas station, got a full tank. He's still paying it off. He filled his tank up 2 months ago. I just sent my boy $50 on Cash App. I'm paying $10 a month for the next 5 months.
And the reason why so many of us shop or go to shopping as a coping mechanism is because of that dopamine hit. We do feel a little good. You know, it is the coping mechanism because we've come to rely on shopping to get that dopamine hit to feel better. I mean, shopping feels good in the best of times, but it feels even better in the worst of times.
And one thing about me is I'm going to spend $350 when I'm sad. I'm going to go to the mall and I'm going to spend money because at the end of the day, when you're feeling sad and you buy random things that you probably don't need, it does feel good. Retail therapy is real. Anybody who says it isn't is lying, in denial, and a sinner. I don't care because my heart feels like it's on the floor. It's shattered into a million pieces. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend the money that I work every single day, every single second for, and I'm going to spend it because what else am I supposed to do? Sit in my apartment? Look at the wall? Be miserable? No. One thing about...
I've never even heard of Klarna or these buy now, pay later apps. How did other people find out about them? I suppose that means that big data knows enough about me and my spending habits to not even bother offering the app? I don't know. Maybe big data assumes that I don't have any money. Little insulting, but I guess I'm fine with that if it means they're not going to constantly hawk products to me over social media. Look, I get it. It's overwhelming. Let's change the subject and talk about something that we all love to do, which is eat. Here's another video for you.
What if I told you these ridiculous ads?
Did you say I'll feel better smoking Philip Morris?
Yes, you'll feel better.
Are not all that different from these ads.
Now, every box of Kellogg's Rice Krispies cereal has antioxidants and nutrients that help support your child's immune system.
For decades, massive food conglomerates like Kraft and Kellogg's have made over $1 trillion through the manipulation of food science and food scientists, and ultimately, us.
To whose advantage is it to keep the public confused about what to eat?
Ultra-processed foods make up over half of the American diet, and do so with little scrutiny from health experts or government officials. And the food industry is terrified. Even if Americans skip one ultra-processed snack or meal a day, sales would plummet by 7%.
So no retirement, massive debt and hyperinflation are on the way, and more than half of the American diet is fake food-like products that are illegal in 30 other countries. There are also products that cause disease. And though colon and colorectal cancers have decreased over time because of the increase in screenings that the medical industry sells us, diagnoses for younger Americans are increasing. Now, it's the subject of another video for another time, and I will make that video. But let me tell you something about our economic culture, our system. We don't solve social problems. We build economies around them. Processed food making you sick? The medical industry has something for you. Feeling down because you ran out of money for your retail therapy fix? Here's Klarna. Buy now, pay later. Oh, you exhausted your buy now, pay later apps, but still feel like something's missing? Well, here's some mood-altering medication.
Feeling stuck for a long time, and I wondered if there was something more we could do. She said that for some people, an antidepressant alone only helps so much. That's when she suggested we add Abilify, aripiprazole, to my treatment. She said that by taking both, some people had symptom improvement as early as 1 to 2 weeks. Having Abilify and an antidepressant working for me, it just made sense. I wish I'd talked to my doctor sooner.
Now, I'm not saying that whatever cultural issue impacts you the most is not an issue. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, one, those issues don't matter if you're not eating. Or if you're eating lab-created garbage, that will be the origin point for a future disease, so they can sell you a treatment. And 2, our entire educational, economic, political, and cultural system all avoid these larger issues in favor of your cultural issue. Aren't you at least curious as to why that is? At the top of my video explaining why I chose not to vote, I let the viewer know that the real conflict is between elites versus commoners. When we're hashing out our cultural issues with each other, the conversation is commoner versus commoner. But if we start questioning why the average citizen can't build wealth, doesn't own anything, and why the digestive tract of a 45-year-old man from his esophagus to his duodenum is diseased, a different section of society might be held accountable for something. I'm Odium, this has been Message in a Bottle. Come back for the next reflection.
All the born beliefs of the mind. But what's real or what's right has so little to do with those minds.